Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. So in today's video, I am doing another sort of self-love journey video. I guess you could call this episode 3. I'm just kind of making these things make the most sense as we're going along. But the first two videos I really spoke about like my journey with this whole self-love. The second video was more like, tools to help you on the self-love journey, and this video is going to be about how I got over my physical appearance. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you would know that I have suffered with acne for more than half of my life. It's been rough. It's been a long and difficult journey, but it all started when I hit puberty. So I hit puberty when I was 10. And ever since I could remember, I never had a perfect body. I've always had stretch marks my entire life. On my whole body, basically. The only place I don't have stretch marks is my arms, but I have really small arms, but I have stretch marks everywhere else. Literally everywhere else. And for me, my self-love journey with my appearance was very hard at first because I felt very ugly. I've had people say to me I'm ugly. Not a lot, but like I can count them on one hand, luckily. People close to me telling me I was ugly and yeah, that kind of stuff. So it doesn't affect me now, but had it been a couple of years, had it been maybe 10 years ago, it would have affected me worse. But for me, it was a thing of I always saw good looking people and they had the worst attitudes. I don't know if it was because they were good looking. And to me, like, one of my biggest fears was already dealing with acne, and I had really bad acne my entire teenage life. So for me, it was like, I don't know if I'm pretty. I don't know if I'm good looking, but I'm going to be a good person so that if people get to know me, they're like, it doesn't matter that she doesn't look nice on the outside. The fact is she's a good person on the inside. And I strongly believe that your beauty can radiate from within. So I've had this mindset since I was younger, since I was maybe 14, 15. So I always strived to be beautiful from the inside because I knew I couldn't help how I looked on the outside. I knew I couldn't help the fact that I had acne. I wasn't popular with the boys either. So I had no sort of affirmation that I was okay looking, and so my entire life, I basically had to affirm myself and tell myself, you're beautiful. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think. You're beautiful on the inside. You're a beautiful person on the inside, and that's all that's going to matter at the end of the day. And so for me, my outer appearance didn't really faze me much because I knew it was what's on the inside that counted the most from a young age. But with, getting comfortable with your body and, with me being on the self-love journey where I'm able to finally wear a two-piece bikini without overthinking too much or worrying too much about my image, it is the most freeing thing I have ever done in my whole life, is put on that two-piece bikini and take pictures and strut on the beach. And let me tell you something, I wear those two-piece bikinis, I take pictures, and then I put my cover up right back on. Obviously because I'm with my family and stuff, like I don't want them to see me like half naked, but to me it's like so empowering to be able to do that. Never mind that I put my cover up on afterwards. For me, it's just like, wow, I never thought I would see myself in a two-piece bikini. And here I am, in a two-piece bikini. So how I really got comfortable in my body is because, like I said to you guys, I hit puberty when I was 10. So my body expanded exponentially. It was kind of crazy. I had stretch marks on my hips, I still have stretch marks on my hips, on my thighs, on my calves, on my boobs. Like, %50 of my body is covered in stretch marks, I feel like. So for me, it was a thing of, am I gonna let these stretch marks define me for the rest of my life? Am I gonna let my weight define me for the rest of my life? Or am I gonna do something about it to feel better in the long run? And so for me, the thing was, I'm gonna do something about it to feel better. You only have this one body. And also, I don't want to look back 20 years from now having kids and obviously maybe possibly struggling with my weight and being like, oh, when I had an amazing body, I didn't appreciate it, you know? So for me, it was like, I have this body. Why don't I appreciate it? Why am I being so ungrateful? You know? There are people out there struggling. And here I am with a fairly good body. Why am I being so ungrateful? It's not fair to be so ungrateful for something like that, you know? Even though I was always chubby my whole life, and I actually am lighter now than I was when I was younger, which is kind of crazy. I'm kind of aging like a fine wine. It's possible, by the way, you guys. If you're young and you've always felt like, you know, like ugh, like I felt ugh, you can age like a fine wine too. You know, you can change things to suit you. And I think with society now, they're making so many things acceptable, like bellies and cellulite and stretch marks. And I think it's a beautiful movement, because for me, not having that and me having to be my own motivation to like get out of that bad headspace, I think it's so beautiful for us to go on TikTok and be able to see all these beautiful bodies, go on Instagram and see all of these perfect bodies, well, these imperfectly perfect bodies, let me say. And for me, it was one of the most empowering things. Like, I knew a long time ago I wanted to make the change. I knew I wanted to work out. I knew I wanted to eat healthier. That's when I started intermittent fasting. That's when I really started to take care of myself. And I think it's so important to just also realize that exercising is also really good mentally for you. So it's a whole bunch of things. I know I'm wearing a full face of makeup right now. My hair's did, and I'm wearing contact lenses and all of that. But I enjoy these things. It's not like I feel less prettier if I don't have them on, you know? But yeah, I mean, it makes me feel good, makes me feel nice. But if I didn't have any makeup on and I was barefaced, I would still feel good and I would still feel nice. And that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to be so strong about my message that I left here on YouTube, which is don't forget to slay all day, every day, with and without makeup, because you should always feel beautiful whether you're wearing makeup or not. So when I came up with that tagline, I was already in the headspace of my self-love journey to my face appearance and being comfortable with my acne. Because a lot of the times when your face is flaring up, people ask you, oh, what's wrong with your face? What's going on? And people don't realize how hurtful that is when you are somebody dealing with this issue and you have no choice but to deal with it. You didn't choose this acne life chose you, you know? So it was a lot to deal with. But I think once you make that choice and once you choose to move forward and work on yourself and you choose to love yourself regardless of what you look like, regardless of how much you weigh, and you just choose to become a better version of yourself and love yourself holistically on that level, it really is something else. You know, I've been doing this for so long right now, especially with my facial appearance. Like my body, I think I've always hated my body to some extent, but it's only recently that I became comfortable with my body. With my face and my acne and my imperfections on my skin, I came to peace with it. I came to peace with the imperfections on my skin, but it was my weight and my body shape and stuff like that was really bothering me recently, that I would say I didn't manage to overcome, because I'm working on it. I'm working on slimming down my body to a point that I really like. So yeah, it is a work in progress. I feel like throughout your life you will always be a work in progress, but to me it's like, if I can start now and be disciplined in the kind of body that I want, when I have kids, it's going to be so easy to get back into shape. And I say easy, but I'm pretty sure being a mom is never easy. But I think to myself, if I can maintain and be disciplined for the next couple of years, because we know it's going to be a long time till I have kids, right? But if I can be disciplined for as long as I can, after I have kids, I'm going to want to go back to that discipline, you know? So for me, it's all about the mindset and just preparing myself for the future, because also with growing older comes predispositions to things that you may get that your family's had and that your grandparents have had. And so I always want to make sure that I'm healthier and on the healthier side of life, because I want to live a long and prosperous life, you know. So you're always going to make sure your body is in good health. And for me, it's all about the long-term goal. It's not just about what I'm doing for myself now that's going to help me now. It's about what am I going to do now that's going to prepare me for the future. So like I said in my second video with regards to figuring out like what your end goal is, like what is your end goal on this whole outer appearance self-love journey? Because self-love is more than just loving yourself on the outside, you know. It's accepting your flaws, it's accepting that you have imperfections, and realizing that you are human and you are perfectly imperfect. And there are so many humans on earth that we may see as perfect, but they feel less than. And so I don't think it's also appropriate to be comparing anybody to anyone else. And like I said, the social media world is such where regardless what you look like, you can feel beautiful because there's so much of representation. And I think that's amazing. And I think it really helps you feel more empowered on this self-love journey, because you're not alone. There are people that look like you. There are people who have bellies like you. And yes, there are a handful of perfect people also. But that is basically showing you what you could possibly work towards. For me, I don't see it as anything negative. I think on the self-love journey as well, when you look at people and you see how beautiful they are and you see how perfect they may look, never ever be envious of that, because you as a human being possess that exact same beauty. It doesn't matter what shape, size, skin tone, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Regardless, you possess beauty that no one else living on this planet possesses, you know. And I think once we all think of ourselves as masterpieces, our own individual masterpiece, we'll start comparing ourselves to people that we find perfect, and we'll start seeing the perfections in our imperfections. And that's where I am right now, is just seeing the perfection in my imperfections. You know, I'm not perfect, never will be, but I'm happy with who I've become. I'm happy with my appearance. I mean, I may dislike my acne scars and when my skin is breaking out, but I know that I can't control that, and that's something I have to change because it's part of my genes, you know. So that is pretty much my physical appearance, my self-love physical appearance. I don't know what I'm going to call this video. I feel like it's going to be my journey to accepting my perfect imperfections. But yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying this video or these series of videos. I think it's so important to just bring awareness on these things, because self-love is just not, it's not just here. You have to make peace with a lot of things. You have to accept a lot of the things that you have, or if you don't like them, change them. It's as simple as that. I think it's so empowering that there is so many things that women can do to become comfortable in their appearances, you know. Listen, if anything makes you happy and if anything makes you feel empowered, I am no one to tell you you shouldn't do it. If you have the opportunity to get a boob job, to get liposuction, to get fat lipolysis, to get fillers, to get lip fillers, that is your choice. And if that makes you feel beautiful, that is entirely up to you, you know. I would love to get lip fillers. I'm just scared that lip filler migrates into my skin. Like, it must stay in my lips. It mustn't migrate here. I see so many people whose lip filler has migrated to like their skin, like up here on the upper lip, and I'm just like, I'm too scared for that. But I'd love to get lip fillers. I'd love to get a BBL, a Brazilian butt lift. Although I think the only thing scaring me away from plastic surgery is, number one, ain't nobody got the money for that. Well, I don't have the money for that. And number two is the pain factor. I think I'm a big sissy when it comes to pain. Like, I'll say yes to childbirth, but no to a BBL. At the end of the day, I think I just want to be the best version of myself for my kids. So my kids can see, actually my niece and nephew, let's start with them. So they can see how important it is to love yourself. And, you know, I want to be the example for them that I never had growing up. I think in the Indian communities, nobody teaches us self-love, and I think it's one of the most fundamental things you can ever teach your kids is how to love themselves enough to not put themselves in positions that they do not deserve. And so, yeah, that for me is my biggest motivation and my biggest like, I'm going to keep working on the self-love journey because it means something to me, and there's a bigger end goal. There's a bigger picture at the end of the day. So, yeah. I mean, your self-love journey will always benefit you first and foremost, but I don't think you actually realize how much other people are inspired by it and how much other people appreciate seeing it. And yeah, I think we as young Indian people need to start changing the narrative, need to start teaching our kids what we were never taught, and just be the change we want to see in the Indian community. Otherwise, if we wait for somebody else to make the change, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. We need to be the change we want to see in the world, like Mahatma Gandhi said. So yeah, that's basically my self-love journey and dealing with my perfect imperfections. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Today's Sanesh Squad member of the day is Jen Naidu. She said, "You're really giving us such great content. Thank you. So much of effort goes into what you do. Couldn't help but yawn every time." Thank you so much, Jen Naidu. I really, really appreciate your comment. I see you interacting on my YouTube videos in the comment section. I really, really appreciate all your love and support. If you guys would like to be on the next Sanesh Squad member of the day, don't forget to interact with me on Instagram, TikTok, and in my YouTube comment section. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to slay all day, every day, with and without makeup. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye bye.